Ça marche. Est-ce que le monde peut le...
All right. Am I still sideways? Good. All right.
Ça marche.
Cool. Ouais, ça marche. Je pense que c'est de loguer dessus, puis on va pouvoir voir les questions.
Ouais.
Je vais faire un... So, with us, super excited to flashing.
Vas-y, là, je me suis mis ça en mute sur mon ordi.
Lost you again. Fait que dès que c'était... Ouais.
Là, ça marche.
Yeah? Okay. All right, so we're still trying to figure out this a little bit of logistic right there. We're not computer masters. And yeah, we think we're better with tiny houses than computers. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. We are now inside a custom tiny house that we just finished, actually. So we're going to start with that house, and after topics that we would like to face, and of course.
Okay. Là, c'est supposé marcher.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we're gonna do a tour of that house that we're inside right now, and after that we have 3 topics that we will discuss with you guys. So building tiny houses for cold climates. We're also going to discuss the process of buying a house with us, and also we're going to have a general topic about the tiny house industry in North America. And also we're trying to have somebody, sort of a manager, to answer the questions at the same time, because the feed is on a cell phone. So we'll do our best to answer the questions. And at some point, we might do a Q&A, and maybe you guys might request the mic and ask your questions directly. So we're going to go with the flow. To be honest, it's the first time we're doing that type of event. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, and we're going to start with the video tour of that house.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Okay.
C'est bon? La musique en fil est correcte?
It looks fine here. Fine. Okay.
Tu veux qu'on sorte puis qu'on encore là?
Okay.
On va faire comme un live tour. All right. So we're now inside the Charm version 2. So it's a custom version of the Charm, which we built a year ago, and we mixed it with the Noyer, which is pretty much our most popular design at the moment. So we have the main floor bedroom, we have 2 bedroom lofts, and one of them is accessible with the same type of setup as the Noyer. So without further waiting, we're going to go inside. So when you get inside the house, you're located in what will be the living area. So right now, there will be an L-shaped couch exactly where I'm standing right now. We have we're going to have a TV mount right there for the TV, and of course the purpose of this living area with the big sliding window there and all the windows on the front of the house makes it so you want to benefit from the view more than enjoy the TV. But then if somebody is really a big TV fan and it's a priority for him, we can also include a drop-down projector on top of that. What?
Je vais juste switcher pour montrer. 10 big windows.
Yeah, and what's cool with that window is there's some built-in, we have some built-in blinds at that window, so that way you can still benefit from the light, but then you can actually get some privacy, and also to have some shade inside the house if you need. So here it is, the big sliding window. So right here we have our big computer setup for the tiny house conference, which we don't even need these computers at the moment because we don't know how to make it work together. I thought I was going to be able to do that, but actually I'm not. So that is a folding table right here, and it's full walnut, so it's all hardwood. We have this little table here. You can sit up to 4 people around the corner because this countertop exceeds the cabinet here, so you can have one seat there, one seat there, one seat right here, and then another seat right there. So we think it's pretty cool because, of course, having a big table is not really what you want inside a tiny house. So this is pretty much the best setup for this type of design. So yeah, I'm gonna go directly inside the master bedroom. So when you get inside.
Hold on, a lot of people are asking to zoom out, but I'm not able to zoom out, so I'm just gonna try my best to show a bigger perspective of the
Okay. So I'm just gonna try to talk louder. So if you don't hear me well, just tell it in the comments, and we'll try to adjust. And probably in the next conference, we're gonna be able to have a better setup, but that one allows some flexibility. Good.
Volume is good.
All right.
Yep.
Cool. So, main floor bedroom in a tiny house. We love that a lot. That allows more options actually, and as you can see, in right on the side of each bed we have some cabinets. So everybody, like if there's 2 occupants in that room, they can all have their own stuff on their own side of the bed, and also we have 2 big windows inside that bedroom, and they're all egress windows in case of emergency.
People want to know the length of the house and the dimension of the bedroom door.
Yeah. Tu m'entends encore bien?
Ouais.
Ouais. So the house is 10 by 34 plus the 2 feet bump out for a total of 10 by 36. This is a wide load tiny house, and this is pretty much what we do most of these days. For the simple fact that being a company that are building for colder climates, we need to take insulation and structure into consideration, and adding all this stuff, even a small house would not be towable with a regular pickup truck. And considering your customers are mostly installing their house for long periods of time, there's no point of losing 2 feet inside the house if you want to move your house every couple of years or so. So yeah, this is why we build wider houses. So that one is 10 by 36, and the bedroom is 9 by 9 with a clearance of 6 feet 8. So it could fit like most of the size of people. Of course, I would not recommend this house to a basketball team, for example. And then also the one of the benefits with the main floor bedroom would be to have the kangaroo bed. It's a bed that opens up. So if you yeah. So we have this hydraulic system. You can open it up like that. So that one is meant for a queen size bed. So there's a resistance when you're pushing it, but when there's a mattress on it, you can lift it with your finger, and it drops down really smoothly as well. So that's it for the main floor bedroom. Actually.
The exit windows?
No. J'ai parlé de egress, ouais. All right, so let's continue with the kitchen. We have we have counters on both sides. That one is we can do some meal prep right here. We have the place for the garbage and the recycling, and of course it's some big stuff. We do custom projects for full-time living, so we think it's important to include as much storage as possible. We have another cabinet right here, and then we have the propane range right here. When we do propane range, we like to work with Furrion because they're doing RV stuff that looks good and it matches the type of product that we're building. Yeah.
People want to know if the cabinets are custom or IKEA.
we don't work with IKEA for the simple fact that we need to have the house as low as possible, and we don't build directly on the trailer frame. I know some people do, but we don't. We build a subfloor on top of the trailer, and this is what we build the tiny house on. So and considering the fact that we have almost 7 inches of roof, we lose a little bit of space inside the house. Same thing for the flooring. So in order to be able to have the maximum height inside the house, we need to work with drop-down trailers, and then the wheel wells, these little holes that you see around the wheels, makes it so we need to cut the cabinets, and this is why we need to go with custom cabinets, and IKEA would not work for the type of tiny house that we build. But that being said, we install some IKEA vanity, for example, because they're sitting at a space where there's no wheel wells. But then doing custom cabinets allows us to have more flexibility and really take the client's needs and put it and bring it to life, which would not be the case with IKEA, because you're stuck with the size that they have. And so it allows us more creativity, and we have more flexibility on the design with that.
Just repeat the dimension of the house and talking about the countertop, if they are a custom or not.
Okay. So like I was saying, the house is 10 by 36 overall dimensions. It's a wide little tiny house, so up to 13 feet, 10 inches. And the counters are full walnut, so it's not laminate. It's not IKEA. It's full walnut, so yeah, it's custom made. So we have the same type of counters on both sides, and it's a long cabinet. Yeah, and some people, like we say, tiny houses are always about compromises, and where you're going to do the compromises is what will establish the type of design that we'll be working with. For example, some people, they want a full bathtub because they're going to read in there, they're going to spend time in the bathroom, so we're not going to do a really small bathroom. And in the opposite, we have people that they don't cook a lot, so they want to maximize the space of the rest of the house, but they only need a cooktop and a small amount of counter space, which is definitely not the case with that model, though. What's the little question?
No.
Okay. So right next to that little dining area, we have a Vesta dishwasher right here. It's a small, compact size, but we think it's the best if you want to have a dishwasher inside a tiny house, which is not the case for everyone. But then with the type of customer and the type of house that we build, most of the time people will include that. Yes.
Someone has a question about installation and double floor, but just let them know
the
that
double floor?
Yeah, the subfloor actually.
Okay.
So we're gonna go inside too.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna do the tour of the house, and then the whole technical stuff that I'm talking about right now. We have a house on the roughing inside the shop, and we'll be able to explain in detail what I mean by subfloor, and we're gonna describe more technical stuff about the insulation and the structure of the house.
Yeah.
So here we have a big sliding window, and that's really interesting because not only you have a nice view when you're where you're not doing the dishes because there's a dishwasher. Yeah, but when you're using the sink or you're just facing the window, the size is really nice, and it's also a sliding window, which means that when you have food ready, you can just pass it to some people that might be on a deck outside the house. So and it's we don't do that a lot in Quebec because of the weather we're facing, but I know most of you guys can relate to that. So here on the other side, we have, like I said, the propane range, and so we have the oven and the 3-burner cooktop, and we have the range hood on top of that. Yes.
Someone is asking if this windows is a vertical windows installed horizontally, but
no, it's meant for that. There's different types of windows. We like to work with awning windows as much as possible because you can leave them open when it's raining. But that one is a sliding window because of the size of the opening is more appropriate, and the type of opening is more appropriate when you're passing dishes from inside to outside. And the question would normally be, can we take a guillotine window and put it sideways? Well, you should not do that because all the joints and everything, they're not meant for that. So yeah, this window is designed to be installed that way. And compared to that one here, that one is an awning window. Then we also have, I forgot to mention, we have this little rack right here. You can hang your pans, and it's really stylish, just like you see on Pinterest. So this is what it looks like before somebody adds this personal touch to that. D'autres questions?
Ouais, il y a quelqu'un qui demande si on suit la norme ANSI A. Puis who does your certification?
Yeah. So we have questions about the certification that we are working with. The ANSI A119.5 is what we're working right now. It's either RVIA or NOAA. Both of these agencies can provide the certification label for this this standard. So that's what we're following right now. But we need to add a layer because we're building houses for cold climates, right? And the ANSI is not like they don't require the amount of insulation that is needed where we're building. So we take the standards that are existing and we add a layer on top because we want our houses to sustain any type of weather.
Someone is asking about the backsplash.
Yeah, the backsplash. For a couple of years, we've been working with the.
Parle du customer experience aussi que tu voulais ça.
Yeah. So what happens is we work with Muralux, which is a Quebec company. They're doing some aluminum panels. So it's a core of plastic with 2 layers of aluminum, and then the pattern is applied on it, whatever pattern you want to choose, and you can be fully creative on that. I'm going to take the time since you're all there. So this little pattern here, that was decided by the customer. So it's not something that you can directly choose, but if you have something specific in mind, you can go fully creative with that. So you can have
your face. Even your face.
Yeah, you can put your own face if you love yourself. Yeah, but then we had this customer who she took a picture of a vase from her grandmother, and she had it replicated into a pattern so she can have memories of her grandmother. So this is the type of stuff that we can do. And this is all part of the customer experience. When somebody reaches out to us and then they're doing the initial call with the design team, anything you have in mind, just share as much as possible because our houses would not be the houses that we do if it was not for the clients that we have. So it's really important for us to collaborate with you guys. You cannot just order a house from us. Well, you could, but most of the time it's really important to sit down and establish your needs, your must-have, your nice-to-have, and sometimes during the design process, we'll make you realize stuff that you didn't know at first, and then we'll learn stuff about you, and this whole build-up will make it so the house will fit perfectly what you had in mind because we took the time to analyze your needs. And all of our designs, they were the fruit of a collaboration with the clients. So we don't own all of this. It's clients are really important into our growth and for the company. Il y a une autre question?
Non, ben, le monde se demande c'est quoi qu'il y a en arrière des glaces. On va continuer le tour.
Cool, perfect.
Peut-être encore 10 minutes, après ça on va rentrer en dedans parce qu'il y a beaucoup de questions.
Sure, perfect. Yeah, so we're going to keep on with the tour. So we have of course as much drawers as possible. We have a spice rack right here. We have drawers. We have another storage here.
Juste pour être sûr, on a une demi-heure ou une heure et demie?
Une heure et demie.
Ok. Parce qu'il a dit qu'on est schedule pour une demi-heure.
Non, une heure et demie. Cool. Here we have so we have a 24 inches fridge, so it's an apartment size. And like I said before, we're sitting on top of the wheel well, so that one cannot be sitting on the ground. So we have a drawer underneath. We always do that. Here we have the classic pull-out pantry because it's not because you're going tiny that you want to starve, right? So you want to pack some food in there. And then here, between the pull-out pantry and then we have a big closet here with a closet rod. The ladder to the second loft is installed right here. Yeah. So, cool, perfect. Real quick, I'm going to go inside the bathroom. So, we have a bathroom here that is similar to the Noyer design. Actually, that's why we, like I said, the house is a combination of the Noyer and the Charm. we have the bathroom of the northern here. So we have a two-in-one washer dryer down there with a cabinet on top, a built-in bookcase that matches the rest of the house. Here we have the mechanical room, the access, and that panel can be removed if you need to have access to what's on. We like everything to be fully clear for the customers. So either the fuse or the valves or anything right there, there's a P-touch on it. We kind of go crazy about that, but then there's something how your house works, and we think it's really important. Propane water heater. There's a flush toilet right here. We have the vanity right there. So we try to condense all the plumbing in the bottom so that way you can have some full-size drawers underneath the vanity. And then we have a mirror right here, and then we have 48 inches bathtub. Actually, it's a shower and a bathtub. So everything's there for full-time living. Good?
Ouais, on va monter dans la chambre, mais
Correct.
c'est vrai que ça dit jusqu'à 30 minutes, là.
What?
C'est vrai, ouais, c'est vrai, ça dit 30 minutes.
So we have of course, it's a storage staircase, so every step is some storage. And then that's the way up to the loft. We have some wires here for safety and also for aesthetic. And then when you go up that loft.
On se dépêchera, les gars.
Ouais, c'est bon. So we have the landing platform. So that's the best of both worlds when it comes to having a loft bedroom where you can stand while you're changing. You have the closet here with some drawers underneath, but then you're sitting here, you're just dropping, you can change, and then you're good to go. So you don't have to climb up in the loft. But then you have a decent sized loft that can welcome a queen size bed. And then on both sides of both lofts, we have these wood blinds that are something that we came up with 2 years ago. And actually it was meant for the exterior use at first, but then you can adjust the privacy inside the loft.
On va aller en dedans, tout de suite, peut-être. Ouais.
T'es sûr avec le time frame? Okay. On arrive juste une demi-heure?
Ouais, il y a tout le monde dedans.
Personne ne compte that. So we're now outside in the backyard of the shop. So we're gonna have an overall view of the house since you're outside. Il y a une voiture complète, quand même.
Ouais.
Ouais.
On va aller voir en dedans.
Juste qu'on va te là. Cool. Je vais vous montrer ça. So yeah, we have this router that is installed outside on the top of the car. So this is the setup we had to do to have Wi-Fi outside the car. Nothing we can not do for you guys. No? Cool. So this is the type of wrap that we put when we install wood outside. But then inside the house we have another type of membrane.
Okay.
Can we do a sound check? Do you guys hear us well? Because we're inside the shop, the signal might be different.
Yep.
Cool, perfect. So that's the house on the roughing. So here's what distinguishes our company from others, or I don't know, it's something that we do that we know not a lot of people do. What you see right now is called curing strips. All the wooden slats are installed vertically. They're meant to create an air gap underneath the wood siding so that way it breathes and it doesn't rot or there's no mold. So we have this little ventilated trim in the bottom that allows the air to go up underneath the wood, and then on top of that we have another one to let the air go out, and that also prevents bugs or any rodents to go and create damage on the exterior of your house. And this type of wrap, the house on this wrap for years, and it would not damage the integrity of the house. But of course, it's a little more expensive, but we are all into durability in the way we create more houses. And then all the trims, all the corners, they're all 26 gauge steel, and that's something also different that makes it so it's really hard to dent, and it's even more durable. And besides that, this is the type of this is the type of tape that we install to
Around the windows.
around the windows too, to prevent any air infiltration, water infiltration, humidity infiltration, and that's key for durability of a tiny house. And then the way it's made, you could leave the house like that with no siding, and it would not damage the inside of the house. So we think it's really important to take that into consideration because what distinguishes a tiny house from an RV is the durability, of course, the layout and all that, but the more durable a tiny house is, the more gap it creates between an RV and the tiny house. And we think it's really two different products, even though right now it's kind of hard for people to understand what's at stake when it comes to buying an RV versus a tiny house, but then it's two different worlds. It's not because you have an RV certification on a tiny house that it follows the same type of regulation and the same type of standards.
Quality standard.
Yeah, well, that's the thing with the RV standards. They're really low standards, and it's fine because there's a need for standards, but then we don't work with minimum standards here. We set the bar really higher in terms of quality and durability, and we think it's the key for durability. Yeah.
How long do you think a tiny home will last?
Actually, if you maintain like the not the weakest part, but the part that you need to maintain a little bit more on the tiny house would be the trailer that is made with steel. But then if you check up for surface rust each year, then this house will be as durable as a regular house, even more, because of the way we create them, the way we build them. So I would say 60, 80 years if you maintain it properly.
Someone is talking about the air strip. Is saying, how does that affect the thermal seal of the wall? Having like air behind it.
Actually, it's a good thing to have that because that layer of air adds up to the insulation. It creates a little gap of air, and if you're doing the calculation for the effective R value of the wall, that little air gap is considered some extra insulation. And we have, you see these furring strips inside of the house. We have double furring strips to run the wires, and then that air gap is also included into the insulation rate of the house.
Maybe you should show the.
I have a cross section.
I'm gonna stay here to keep the signal. GP is coming back soon. And yes, we like to keep our shop clean.
Improvise and overcome. So yeah, here it is. We made this little cross section so you guys can understand. So this is a sit paddle. So it's just sandwiched 2 layers of aspenite. So there's no thermal bridge that would be created with regular stick framing. So we have the corner trims, we have the siding, and then can go out. So that way the wood will be good for especially cedar, except for the color. There's no maintenance, and then it will never rot, so it's good for life. And then on the other side, the other side is vertical furring strips, and then horizontal finish. If you were to do some vertical finish, you would do this 2 steps in the opposite way. But then what's cool, so we can run going through the walls and putting holes into the vapor barrier inside the house. So the cool thing about SIPs is you don't need a vapor barrier, but you need to tape the joints everywhere so you can be sure that you're fully airtight. And for people that are into technical stuff, our houses can have up to 1.12 change hour, which is really, really airtight. But then
you're talking about the air changer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so air tightness is the key to um, to reduce the electricity costs in a tiny house. And the same way we want to reduce the amount of electricity we spend heating these homes, the same type of insulation is even more important when people in California or in really hot places, they want to keep the fresh air inside. So the insulation rate is as good, is as important whether you're located in a cold or in a hot place. And the thing is, with airtight homes like that, if you don't install some air exchangers, you might be creating something even worse than having a house that is not really airtight. So you really need these air exchangers because it's the same way that if I was to put a plastic bag on your head, you would not be able to breathe, right? So it's the same thing with the house. It's perfect to have it airtight because you can keep the the warm air inside or the fresh air inside. But then the house needs to breathe, and you need to have air exchange. So we always include a pair of heat recovery air exchanger in all of our houses. So it's not an option, and it should never be an option. Everything related to HVAC should be stuck with the home, either the range hood, the humidity extractor, and all that. Yes.
No, that's what I was about to talk.
Yeah, so when you're buying a house from us, don't ask yourself, does it come with all this standard equipment? It does. What will change when you're buying a house from us is really the choices of materials for the inside of the house, for the design. We have options for radiant floors and all that, but then you don't need to ask for this type of wrap around the windows. You don't need to ask for some durable cedar and stuff like that. It comes with the house.
What brand air changer?
We were working with Lunas at first, but then we found a company that was doing these air exchangers that are more appropriate for colder climates. It's called Blauberg, Blauberg. The model we use is called Vento, and it can if you don't have an air exchanger in your house, you can actually you can use it as a plug and play, or it can be hardwired. So that's the advantage with this one. If you feel that your house is not breathing properly or you're lacking of air exchange, you can just have that 7 inches hole inside the wall and plug it into a regular outlet. So it's a really nice product.
Mm-hmm. Someone is asking about the wall thickness. So
yeah, if we include everything from finish to finish, we're around 8 inches thick. Same thing for the flooring is a little less because we have some foam panels joists, but then we have 2 inches more for the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So
somewhere around that because the roof is we don't have the furring strips on the roof because we're working with a steel siding for the roof, steel roofing actually. But yeah, so 8 inches for this, 8 inches for the around 6 inches for the floor, right?
Someone is asking how many homes we can make in 1 year.
Right now we have a capacity of 14 houses a year. And we're doing not almost, we're only doing custom projects one house at a time. We build on demand. We don't keep houses in stock. Not that it will not be the case someday, but considering the small footprint nice design, everybody has this little special need or this little tweak that they want to have with our designs to make it their own. So that's why we decided to go with the flow and based on people's needs. But now we're in a moment of our company, a moment with the right way because we're all about quality, and we will never sacrifice quality control for a bigger profit or for more houses. So we need to make steps in a way where we respect who we are as a company, the values of the company, and the product and the quality control that we want to have on our houses.
Someone is saying that the next session is starting, but our session it's not still running. So I guess we can maybe continue and
yeah, we'll keep on.
People,
if it cuts, just write us, and then we'll try to adjust. I was pretty sure we had an hour and a half, But then if it ends up, well, thanks for watching. For people that are staying right now, we're just gonna keep up with the inside of the house. It's a roughing, but then you saw the finished product outside, and we think it's really important to see that you see the skeleton of the house, or the different things as to the front.
Someone is asking if the external cedar can grow mold.
Hmm?
Someone is asking if the cedar can grow mold.
The only way cedar will grow mold is if it's trapped between either two layers well, if the humidity inside the wood cannot go out, that's when it will rot. That's the same thing for wood. We have houses that are built in wood in Quebec, houses that are 400 years old, built from wood, with wooden windows and all that, and there's no mold. Because wood is reacting to humidity, but then when you know the technicals about wood, it can be as durable as steel. So cedar will mold if it cannot breathe, which is why it's really important to have that furing strip with the air gap underneath, so the wood doesn't even rot ever, ever.
Some people are asking about the cost of our house, especially the one that we just showed outside.
Ouais, mais
Ok, it's
155,
165.
165.
Yeah,
Ça veut dire c'est autour de 100.
bon, calculé.
Yeah, most of the guys are in US right now, so we're trying to make a small calculation to make sure that because we have the base prices of the house, and of course, like the base prices doesn't come with nothing. It just the
Ouais.
upgrades and the appliances will build up the final price. But that one, the one that you saw outside,
C'est 120 000 US.
is around 125 USD, including everything you saw in the videos, except for our computers and my associate Elise. She's so precious that would not lose her with a tiny house. Yeah. So the price range will vary a lot because we don't have the ability to mass produce a lot of houses that are exactly the same and come up with bulk prices and all that. That's not the game that we want to play with the type of house that we're building right now. Not that it will be the case someday, but right now it's case by case, house after house. So we take time for each house to make it up to the client's needs. So right now the price will vary from around 65 USD to up to 130, 140 USD. So there's no limit because sometimes people will go from 1,400 square feet to a tiny house like that because it's their last home. People that are around 50 years old, they're either in retirement or they're almost there, and it's going to be their last home. So they're transitioning, but they don't want to cut on quality of life, and also they will take the money that they made with their house to invest in some more luxury items. So this is what's reflected sometimes in the houses that you see in our videos. But if you're a young couple as well, we can build a house for you. But then I'm just trying to illustrate the different types of clientele that we work with.
We have a question about the standard electricity that is coming with our house.
Yeah.
And maybe just talk about the certification that we have.
Okay. I'm going to go with the electricity real quick. The ANSI A119.5 is the electricity is based by the National Electrical Code. So, of course, we follow all of these requirements, but then the type of electricity in our home will depend on the type of house. So if you're combining propane with electricity and eventually solar, we can create a hybrid system that will be either a 30 or 50 amp RV plug combined with propane appliances. So it would be a 50 amp cord. In this case, for example, this is the type of RV plug that can come with the house. But then if you're fully electrical, you have access to plenty of electricity, we can have a 100 amp panel that would be hardwired into an electrical panel. And if you need 200 amp, then we can do that as well, because if you're looking forward, we're going to have a lot more of these electrical cars, and they require a 40 anchor only for the car. So if you have two electrical car that are parked outside and you want to them, you have to dedicate 80 amp for these two cars. So the rest of the house needs to go somewhere. So it's either fully electrical 100 amp or 50 and 30 amp combined with propane. We can also have some solar options as well.
What kind of toilet do you use in cold climate? Is there smell issue? Video went out on me. Oh.
Yeah.
Are you still
Are we
seeing?
still having a couple of people there?
Yeah, 124. Okay. Video is fine. This is okay. Yeah, people are
Yeah,
still.
we'll keep on and we'll see how it goes. What was the question? The toilet question?
Yeah, what type of toilet we use for a cold climate?
Yeah, we have when we go to home shows, we have tons of questions about toilets, and it's so fun to answer all these questions about toilets, right? So we can either include a flush toilet, a composting toilet, either it's the nature's head or the separate villa.
Villa.
Villa, and we can also have the incinerating toilet, which is something that we included in two designs. So no matter the toilet that you're going to be using, you're going to have to manage gray water that comes from the sink or the shower. So gray water management or black water management is in a tiny house. There's no magic. I wish you can just make all of that disappear, but it's not the case. So it's always better to have access to septic services in order to connect the tiny house. But then the cold will not affect the type of toilet.
No, continue. But
So yeah, the cold climate will not affect the type of toilet that we'll recommend for you. But then if you're living in a place where there might be some temperatures below zero and it's going to be freezing, then we'll always include an outlet underneath the house where you can plug a heating tape or a heating wire that will be wrapped around the main water line. That one goes deep in the ground up to the freezing zone. So this is where you want to run your wire down up to the freezing zone, so that way the the water line doesn't get cold or doesn't freeze. And depending on the type of toilet, we also have the same type of thing that you will put on the P-trap underneath the shower, because the P-trap underneath the shower is the only P-trap that is exposed to the cold underneath the house. The rest is always inside, and it's all condensed into one exit 3-inch pipe. That one goes into the septic tank. So having a composting toilet or an incinerating toilet will avoid black waters, but it will not avoid gray waters.
Maybe talk about the plumbing inside the wall, but between the furring strip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have to run for instance, we normally the water entrance mechanical room. So when it comes to running the pipes, normally what we see a lot in tiny homes, same thing for electricity. You would have some studs at every 16 or 24 inches, and then people will run the pipes directly through the studs, or the wires through the studs. Actually, it's pretty much the worst thing to do, because that thickness will never prevent cold from freezing your water pipe. You should never run a water pipe into an exterior wall. What we do is we run them in the hot zone, not in the cold zone. We run them sometimes next to the SIP panel here when they will reach the mechanical room. So, for example, the kitchen taps, they will run on the pipes will run underneath the interior finish up to where they will be installed in the cabinet, let's say the sink of the kitchen. And then when they go inside the mechanical room, all the pipes are either inside or in the ceiling of the bathroom, or the interior walls of the bathroom. This is where we run the pipes, but we should never ever run some pipes inside an outside wall. For the gray water management, it's the same thing. Sometimes we cut through the SIP to make to reduce the 3-inch or the 2-inch pipes that we install for gray water management, and then they need to have a certain slope, so they're running and then they're going down the floor and they connect underneath the house. But it wouldn't. It's not a big trouble to run some gray water lines in a cold spot because of the slope. The water will not freeze in there, except for the P trap underneath the shower, because the shower is sitting directly on the floor. So the P trap needs to be underneath the house. That's pretty much what summarizes the whole pipe thing.
Let's try inside.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do this. On a-tu une demande de lien?
You're gonna try something. No, I'm talking to everyone. Ah, c'est pas super. Ouais, ça va.
Oh yeah.
This is a new model that you haven't seen yet.
Yeah, so that one is Neuer XL. So for those who know the Neuer, it's pretty much a Neuer, but then we have a main floor bedroom past the bathroom. So it's super exciting because that's what people have been wanting for all this time. And for people that don't know the Neuer, you can check it out on our website.
Maybe you can talk about the interior finish, the new product.
Yeah. So
this is exciting.
Since we are always improving our product, we like to keep the same formula of having, these stained ceiling with the white walls, so we can have some wood accents throughout the whole house. So the canvas that we work with is pretty much always the same, but then we use some variations to create different designs. We were working with jointed pine at first, but the thing with jointed pine is wood is always it's alive, so it bleeds. The bleeding of wood is a technical term. Of course, you can look it up online, but then what happens is no matter how many layers of paint you will put on jointed pine, it will bleed at some point of its life. Either it's in 2 years or 4 years or a couple of months, depending on the type of paint that you're using.
But it will bleed once.
Yeah, it will bleed once. So after it bled, you can apply another layer of paint and then it will be final. You won't have to touch it again. But then the thing is, this new product is that it's a wood that is clipped. So it's engineered wood